The folder was labeled Taxes 2017, but the date-modified stamp was last night, and I knew, long before I double-clicked, that nothing inside had anything to do with deductions. I wasn't even snooping. I'd been hunting for the scanned copy of our mortgage papers, because the bank wanted one more piece of paper to prove we were the kind of people who paid for the life we'd promised each other. I typed tax in the search bar because that's what you do when you share everything. You trust the labels. The first file was a spreadsheet, no harm, just numbers. The second was a PDF of our 1099s. The third was a video thumbnail that showed Elise in the gray sweater I bought her last Christmas, cheekbones lit by laptop glow, her face angled the way it used to angle toward mine in the dark. She was alone in the frame, but she wasn't talking to herself. She was talking to someone off camera, someone I wasn't. I moved the cursor, told myself not to, then clicked anyway. I keep rehearsing how I'll tell him, she said, voice hushed, eyes shining like she was half drunk on cheap wine and adrenaline. I swear I'm committed fully now, but the math of us doesn't add up anymore, and I need you to know I'm terrified of being the villain in the story we've been writing. The clip ended at 53 seconds. No reply, no second side of the conversation. Just her confession to a lens that felt more honest than she'd been with me in months. My lungs forgot their rhythm. We'd met for lunch earlier, splitting a sandwich at the place around the corner from her office. She'd reached across the table, rubbed a crumb from my beard, said, "Can't believe we're only 42 days out." She meant the wedding, save the dates already mailed, venue half paid, her dress zipped into a breathable bag in my mother's guest room. She'd smiled like someone who still saw the future in my pupils. Now that future felt rigged, like a carnival game you play after watching 20 people lose. I closed the laptop, left it on the desk we'd built from an IKEA box and a six-pack, and walked to the kitchen. The faucet dripped exactly 4 times. I counted without meaning to. Elise's travel mug, pink, chipped, sat in the sink. I picked it up, rinsed it, set it upside down, all the while feeling the weight of what I'd seen swing inside me like a bat against glass. When she keys rattled in the lock at 6:18, I was seasoning chicken for the stir-fry we made every Thursday. Routine as religion. She walked in humming something I couldn't place, melody thin and unfamiliar. "Hey you," she said, brushing past to hang her coat. Her scent, bergamot and copier toner, floated behind her. "Bank stuff go okay?" "Still need the mortgage docs," I managed. My voice sounded like someone else's, borrowed and brittle. She opened the fridge, grabbed a seltzer. "I can look again tonight. Might be in that old thumb drive." She tilted her head. "You okay? You look pinched." I wanted to say, "I saw you confess to a camera that you're scared of us." I wanted to say, "Who's the math that doesn't add up, me or the mortgage rate?" Instead I flipped the chicken and lied. "Long day." She kissed my shoulder blade through cotton, then disappeared to change. The spot burned like a brand. We ate in the living room, Netflix asking if we were still watching some baking show. She laughed when a contestant dropped a meringue. I watched her face, searching for the girl in the video, trying to stitch the 2 images together. After dinner she showered. I waited until the water hissed, then reopened the laptop. The folder was gone. Either I'd imagined it or she'd moved it between mortgage folders and bedtime stories. My pulse pounded so loud I thought the neighbors could hear. I clicked through every directory, documents, downloads, desktop, nothing. In recent items, only the spreadsheet I'd opened first. Either she was fast or I was losing my mind. I preferred the second option. Madness felt softer than betrayal. She came out in the faded Duke t-shirt she'd stolen from me freshman year, towel-drying curls. "Find the papers?" "Not yet. We'll dig together tomorrow," she said, crawling onto the couch, feet tucked under my thigh. Team effort. She squeezed my knee, and I felt the muscle twitch like it wanted to run without the rest of me. That night I lay awake cataloging the past weeks. The way she'd started closing browser tabs when I walked into her office. The new password on her phone. Birth month of her grandmother who'd hated me. The sudden evening runs she took without headphones, claiming she needed quiet. Evidence lined up like dominoes waiting for a finger. At 3:06 I slipped from bed, carried my phone to the bathroom, shut the door, sat on the edge of the tub. Screen glow lit the tiny room like a confession booth. I typed, "Signs your fiancé is having second thoughts," deleted it. Typed, "How to confront someone you can't lose," deleted that too. Finally opened a note and wrote, "I am afraid of what I know and more afraid of what I don't." I stared at the sentence until it blurred. Morning came gray. She kissed my cheek, left for work, promised to forward the bank whatever she found. I called in sick, something I hadn't done since the flu of 2019, and opened her laptop again. This time I searched hidden files, ran recovery software, felt every bit the criminal she maybe was. I found fragments, a half-finished email draft in her professional account addressed to no one, subject line, the things we choose. One paragraph. Asterisk courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision that something else matters more. I've been a coward in the name of kindness. Asterisk. I read it until the words lost meaning, then shut the computer, heart jackhammering. At lunch I drove to her office, told security I was dropping off sinus medicine. Elevator climbed 16 floors. Each ding tightened the screws in my chest. I found her cubicle empty. Lunch meeting, sticky note said. Monitor asleep. Mouse wiggled. A PowerPoint titled Vendor Comparison Q3. I almost laughed. Of course she password protected her personal life, but left work wide open. On the corkboard above the desk hung our engagement photo. Her head thrown back, my face buried in her neck, both of us laughing like people who'd never doubted gravity. I reached to straighten it. The pin popped. Photo fluttered to carpet. I left it there. I was halfway to the elevator when I spotted her, standing by the copier, speaking softly to a man I'd met once at a happy hour. Julian from accounting, tall, asymmetric smile. She handed him a flash drive. He brushed her fingers, maybe accidental, maybe not. I stepped back around the corner, pulse roaring. They parted. She never saw me. I drove home, packed an overnight bag I didn't use, sat on the stoop until sunset bruised the sky. When her Prius hummed into the driveway, I stood. Hey, she called, cheerful, grocery bag swinging. Feeling better? We need to talk, I said. My voice cracked like old wood. Inside, I poured 2 glasses of water, set them on the table untouched. Then I laid the laptop between us, opened it, showed the empty folder path. I saw the video, I said. Taxes 2017. Color left her face in one sweep. She opened her mouth, closed it, looked at the ceiling like answers lived in plaster. I deleted it, she whispered. I was going to tell you tonight. I promised myself. Promised who? I asked, though I already knew. She started crying, silent, shoulders shaking. I'm scared, she said. Of the version of us that just coasts. Of waking up in 30 years wondering if I settled because you felt safe. Safe, I repeated, the word tasting metallic. I thought that was the point. She reached across, but I shifted my hands to my lap. Is it Julian? I asked. Her eyes widened. No, God, no. It's not a person, it's a feeling. Of maybe missing something I can't even name. I thought of the mortgage, the save the dates, the clay bowl we made together. So you filmed yourself rehearsing your escape and stored it where you knew I could find it. Subconscious sabotage, save you the trouble of actually leaving. I don't know, she sobbed. I don't trust my own thoughts anymore. I stood, chair scraping. I can't compete with a hypothetical future. But I deserved the truth before it was edited and labeled like an old receipt. She pressed her face into her arms. I watched the back of her neck, the fine hairs I'd kissed 1,000 times, and felt the ground beneath us finally split. I walked to the door, stopped. I'm going to my brother's. When I come back Sunday, decide which fear is bigger, losing me or keeping me. I left the water glasses untouched, equal, transparent, everything we were no longer. 2 days later, I returned to find the apartment quiet. On the kitchen table sat the clay bowl, cracked clean in half, each piece facing the other like an unfinished conversation. Beside it, her engagement ring glinted under morning light. No note, just the echo of choice already made. I sat, fit the jagged edges together, knew they would never hold weight again. Outside, a siren Dopplered away, carrying some other emergency to a different life. I breathed in, breathed out, feeling the ache settle where certainty used to be, sharp, earned, and finally mine.